Can I ask you a question?
The Bolton Ink Effect.
Kia ora, and welcome to another episode of the Bolton Ink Effect podcast, coming to you from our little homemade studio here in beautiful Tauranga Matua. And as you can see, I have my gorgeous wife with me today. Bridget, welcome back to the studio.
Thank you, Louis. It's nice to be back in here with you.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
It's been a busy time.
Yeah, it's been a very busy time. I can't remember the last time we chatted.
Would be 4 episodes ago.
Yeah, a lot's happened in between then and now.
A lot's happened in between there and now. And the reason I started the podcast and said kia ora
is because
I finally did it. We finally did it. We actually did it. I'm now officially a Kiwi citizen.
You are. You have your lovely black passport and you've worked hard to get there, Louis.
2,832 days.
Yeah.
That's how long it took from the time that we landed in September 2018.
That's right.
Up until June 2026, where I attended the citizen ceremony.
You did? And how did you feel when you were there?
It was quite surreal. I mean, to be fair, we're in New Zealand and things work pretty like clockwork. So there wasn't any like real pomp or ceremony, but it was still ceremonial and there was ritual to it, which I really appreciate. There were about 60 of us in a little sort of theatre room in Bay Court here in Tauranga. And the mayor, or now I have to say mayor, but it'll always be a mayor, welcomed us to Tauranga and appreciated the fact that we have done the time to become New Zealand citizens and choosing New Zealand to be their home, to be our home. And then there's an allegiance piece and you are awarded with a citizen's certificate. And after that, then you can apply for your passport. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty surreal, to be fair, because I applied on the Monday and the following Wednesday, it arrived. I was working the whole day, so you were at home and you collected it for me and you told me that it was here. And when I arrived home, it was beautiful because you and Miss 15 had set up the kitchen with all things Kiwi, just a few products and things that I really enjoy with the passport. And when I looked at it and I held it in my hands, I kind of left my body. I know that sounds a little bit like esoteric and woo-woo, but it was like it was so surreal that 8 years of my life had passed, and sitting back on the farm in 2017 when we both decided to make the move, and then the culmination of all of that into the black passport, I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm very proud of every step that you've taken on this journey. I mean, you've had difficult situations to deal with, difficult people to deal with. There've been a lot of times along the journey where you could have given up, and maybe it's not about giving up. Maybe it's just a lot of people make the decision that this is not for them and they go back to their original country, whether that's America or India or Europe or South Africa. And you didn't. For you, this was always plan A. You were going to achieve it, and you've got there. And now you just actually have to settle into this new, I guess it's a new identity, because
Correct.
New Zealand is now your mother country.
It's surreal to think that the land of my birth is South Africa, which is still very much in my heart, but the land of my choice that I'm now calling home is New Zealand.
Yeah.
And you and Miss 15 have been with me on that journey, and I want to publicly thank you for your love and support on that journey, because there have been many ups, there have been many downs, and we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. And looking back, and if I reflect a little bit on it, I do realize that part of the success of it was the fact that we only had plan A. There wasn't plan B, C, or D. And I've mentioned this before in previous podcasts. That, I think, was a real factor in the success of getting a new passport in this country for me. And now you're right. The re-identification.
Yeah, exactly.
The redesign of myself is quite exciting.
Yeah.
About what this actually opens up for me. And I mean, we could speak about a lot of what a passport means to various people, but for our situation, it means a lot of freedom for me.
Yes, it definitely does.
That now the world opens up suddenly with less bureaucracy because of the power of that passport.
But not only that, you now are a citizen of a country that is one of the safest in the world.
Correct.
You're a citizen of a country that is one of the freest in the world in terms of women having the vote, in terms of freedom of speech, in terms of democracy, and everything that belonging to a free country means.
And things work.
Even over and above the fact, and things work.
Yeah.
But, your child has access to education. You have access to education. You can go and see the MP of the region. You can make an appointment to have your voice heard. You really are now a citizen of a country whose cogs work, who politically is pretty sound.
Yeah. I think another layer to that is the fact that when I say it opens up the world is I used to look at, let me rephrase it. You often used to say, where should we go on holiday? And I've never really thought about it. I've kind of blocked it off because I knew that it would just be difficult because I was on the previous passport. So now when I look at possibilities of going to Australia, to Europe, to America, to anything like that, I suddenly look at it and it's different now. That I can actually walk in there without a visa. I don't have to worry about that. And that's not an entitled thing at all. I've worked bloody hard to get to where I've got to, and it was a choice that I made.
Yeah.
And I'll share one thing with you that I'll never forget. I remember when we left South Africa, we went to Oratambo and we were busy pushing the trolleys with our bags to the gate. And we had to get into an elevator, and there was a lady in there who pulled out a New Zealand passport. And this was 8 years ago. And I remember looking at it going, I'm starting the journey. Like one day I'll have that, And then 8 years later, I've now have it in my hand. Yeah. It's so surreal, man.
And you often talk about having only plan A, but another way of phrasing that is you were single-mindedly focused on a goal. And plan B could have been going back to South Africa. Plan C could have been going back to Europe. So any of those plans could have come to fruition had the proverbial shit hit the fan and something hadn't worked out or whatever the case is. But this was single-mindedly your goal.
Yeah, it was.
And you pursued it with a passion and a purpose. And as you said earlier, it means different things to different people.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, we're all one. I don't care which country you come from.
Correct.
The fact that you've just changed passports means that you've given yourself, you've just changed lanes. You've given yourself freedom. You've given yourself more options. But
But it's quite exciting now because it does allow space to, as I mentioned earlier, is redefine myself and reinvent myself. Like, what's next? Like, this is the next
exactly. And
chapter.
It'll be interesting to see where that.
And I don't have an answer for that at the moment.
And you don't have to. It's important to have the next set of goals, obviously.
Sure, and they're formulating.
Correct.
Anyway, enough about me and my story to success, and there are many successes. Let's turn the tables. We haven't spoken for a while, and there has been a lot that has happened in your life as well. Just for some context for the viewers out there and the listeners out there, you and I embarked on a journey to start something together and work on our business, Bolton Inc., with me filming and editing and you doing the marketing aspect. And we've been through quite an interesting journey on that road to figuring things out. That has culminated in the fact that we've realized that, there's a couple of things. That you are now in a situation where you were approached to be part of an AI cohort to study for 4 months and help. Well, tell us about that. Tell us about that, because what's happened now is you're going into full-time employment. It's a cover leave, but just take us through the last couple of months in your life.
So I So there's a company called Scene Ventures, an amazing organization, and they do these cohorts in collaboration with the New Zealand Institute of Technology and Toi Ohoma, which is the local university. And so my name was put forward and I went through the interviews, and you've got to submit a whole lot of credentials to I guess, to show that you're up to committing to 3 or 4 month study. And yes, and it was all about studying the AI as a big subject.
Gee, absolutely.
You know,
I mean, it's changed in the 4 months that you've done it.
Exactly. So just understanding some of the tech, some of the vocabulary, what some of the tech can do, how to use it, how to get the best results from it, how to streamline your own thinking. Because a messy mind is a messy workspace, and an AI will reflect that. And in fact, you said that to me the other day.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll get onto that. But I just want to take a step back. How did you land on that cohort? Because you are not a coder or a computer scientist or anything. You're actually quite a pure marketer. So
AI doesn't need coders, because AI does the coding itself. And so it's really, I guess, just having the maturity. And so essentially we were being trained over a 3-month period. We were split into 2 separate groups within the study group, and one of us worked on one client, which is a manufacturing business in New Zealand, and the other one worked on another client, which is in the kiwi industry.
So was that the premise? Was that why they put together, is actually to do like a case study and then actually work on a actual business, so there was an actual outcome?
Yes, so there is an outcome. Yes, 100%. So at the end of the course, a proposal has been taken to those 2 organisations to say, would you like to give any of the people in this cohort?
Here's a solution.
Or would you like to give them employment?
Right, I'm with you.
So it was a path to employment for some, and it was a path to just expanding knowledge for others.
How did you find it? What were your biggest takeaways?
I absolutely loved it. And the thing is, being part of this group was incredibly humbling. I mean, there are people from all walks of life.
Sure.
Yep. And it's a level of honesty and acceptance and vulnerability that I haven't experienced here in New Zealand.
Okay.
A really, really amazing group of people, and I miss seeing them. I really miss them. They have affected me in ways that I probably couldn't even explain. But we all put our best foot, most of us put our best foot forward. We came through the course learning a whole lot more than when we went in, understanding the tools, and some of us are clearly adept at one part of it more than others. And so, although I understand the technology, it's the coding part that I rely very heavily on AI to help me with. So if I'm developing an app or something, I need Chat or Claude to do the code for me. So it's literally a cut and paste, put that into whatever the app space is that I'm working in, and to try and work things out that way. So it's still, like my feeling is it's still a little bit like a cobbled together solution.
It's nebulous. Well, it's not nebulous.
No, I don't mean
but
nebulous.
But there's no clear bridge between any of the parts.
Yes,
it's
it's very bitty, and it's the bridge between developing the app and how that app actually works for you. I think the other thing to take into account is that every single day, new versions and new apps and new processes and new ways to do it are being developed and being released, and it's really exhausting trying to keep up with it all.
Well, you can't.
So stay with the technology that you know. For example, if you use ChatGPT, stay that and explore all the realms around that. If you're with Claude, stay there and explore all the realms around Claude.
Fair enough.
But the other thing that I encountered is you can spend an absolute fortune. You really could, because a Canva subscription costs you X amount per year or per month, as does ChatGPT, as does Claude, as does Make.com, as do any of the others that you're using. They all require subscription. So suddenly you're spending $200 a month just experiencing and playing, and then suddenly you've got to pull that back and go, hang on, I'm just like a single user. And so fortunately, while I was learning, I made a list of every single subscription, because a lot of them have like a month free or 7 days free or whatever. So I made a list of all of those subscriptions and put a little thing in my calendar to say, cancel this, cancel that.
That's a great piece of advice.
The only one I forgot about was Canva. And now that my situation has changed somewhat, I won't be needing, a full pro Canva anymore. But anyway, that's just as it is.
Just 2 questions, stepping back. What was the final outcome when you presented to these 2 businesses? Were they open to the idea? Did they walk the journey with you? And were they accepting of what you had come up with as two cohorts offering an AI solution within their business?
So the two situations were very different. Kiwi industry, it was about bud count, trying to predict what a future crop would look like, because there's quite a lot of money that gets spent. And if you're not in the Kiwi industry, you don't realize it. They've got to pay for crates, for staff, for refrigeration, for trucking, and all those sorts of things. And those things are done on predicting what's going to come. So trying to find a reliable model to predict what's happening with the fruit. And right now it's a manual count. So, you walk underneath and you click for all the buds that you see. And then in the industry that I worked in, which is the salt industry, it's about having all of this knowledge, but which is, and it's quite typical of manufacturing industries or businesses in the manufacturing space. Knowledge is in so many different places. It's in an email, it's on your desktop, it's on an F drive, it's on a server that sits somewhere. And so it's bringing all of that together and finding a way to overlay that and give everybody in the team access to that knowledge, as well as ring fencing that knowledge so that the AI has no option to hallucinate, and to go off. So those were sort of the solutions that we looked at. But this organization, in some instances, doesn't even have a technology portal. So there's no iPad, there's no computer in a particular space. So it's all very much paper driven. And they're very keen to take it away from that and bring all of their workers, admittedly an aging workforce, into a new way of doing things where things are a lot easier for everybody. So there's training and standard operating procedures and so many things go into that sort of an industry.
Bridge, what's your take after the 4 or 5 months that you've been part of this? Where do you see it going, and what's your feeling on the whole process, having actually been part of it now?
On the process of AI in general.
Yeah, and taking it into a business which you're offering a solution to the business has to decide and figure out a whole bit of stuff, whether it's yes or no. Is it inevitable that they will have to go on something, or are people going to be left behind? What's your biggest kind of takeaway or gut feel about where this is all going, and how you have managed to...
There's lots of questions there.
I know, okay. So let me start with the one. So
yes.
What's your gut feel about where this is all going to go in terms of your experience having gone through learning and then presenting to a fairly big client?
So where the AI technology is going, or where the technology for certain industries?
The reception, how was that received?
They were very open to it. And I think that most organizations realize now that there is a quicker, cheaper way of using resources, because every time you search for a document, those minutes add up. And so over a week, you're almost spending 25% of your week searching for stuff.
So you're giving them back time. So there's a steep learning curve,
correct.
But then it'll level off and then it'll increase efficiencies, which is the point.
But with the AI solution that we created, it's actually not such a steep learning curve. So it's a really friendly interface that uses human language. And it's really, where do I find this standard operating procedure? And then the technology goes away, and there's lots of things that happen in the back end that the front user doesn't even know about. And that's the magic of AI, I guess, is creating this really friendly user interface where all of the stuff is working in the back, and it's working in the back within a matter of seconds.
Yeah, it's been fascinating because I've kind of been on the sidelines on the journey with you. I've watched you do what you've done, and I've kind of gone down a few rabbit holes myself, and it can go down rabbit holes. You actually have to pull yourself back.
You do.
And the one thing that I've realized is that I must not forget my humanity. And what I mean by that is that you can get sucked into all these different, as you say, subscriptions and models and prompts and everything like that and build things. And I've had to take a step back and say, what do I actually want to create? What do I actually want it to do for me? When I say it, I use that term loosely. How can I use it effectively in my work? Because essentially what I want is augmented intelligence to work for me so that I can spend more time with you, with Juno, with Miss 15, and actually do the things that I want to do.
Well, exactly, and I think that AI is a tool that will give you that. Yeah. So developing your vegetable garden at home, because this issue with in this war between the US and Iran taught us one thing, that we are so reliant on the industries around us, whether that's fuel, diesel, and how that has an impact on what you're buying. The cost of things go up, your vegetables go up. And so if you can automate your content, for example, so that you're posting on your social platforms and that content is being written in your tone, you can then go and spend some time working with somebody who understands how to get the best out of compost, and we really should finish our compost heap so that we've got compost, so that we can, the time has come now, and unfortunately it's past, and neither of us have spent time in our garden, but we've got lovely veggie boxes. And so 2 or 3 hours a day doing that while the business is automated and doing what it should do, that's I guess part of the magic of what AI is offering all of us.
Yeah. I don't think we truly fully understand how different our lives are going to be in the next couple of years. And I mean, there's lots of information. Well, we can't,
because you need to experience something in order to know it and to understand it.
Yeah, but this communication, this in real life human connection is an aspect that I don't want to forget about.
I tell you what, Louis, the one thing that, we had the fortune of getting a voucher to go and spend on technology because of the iPad that we bought that was then faulty. And so Kenzie and I then went and got some Apple AirPods. And I tell you what, it's absolutely changed my life, because I don't have the cables anymore. I don't have to have my phone in my pocket. But so where I'm going with that is that I have listened to so many podcasts about so many things. And for me, podcasts are there to teach people, to connect people, to bring people into a community. And it's such a powerful platform.
Care to share any ones that have stood out? Anything?
Oh, I've gone on, you know me, I've gone on all sorts of tangents.
Yeah, you have been on a journey. You've gone quite deep.
The deeper I go into technology and AI, the more I focus on my own humanity. And so I've been looking at things like studying, like, how legitimate is the Bible? Is it a fable? And interestingly, and also I've been challenging some of my own.
I love this.
Own stories.
You are blossoming. Your eyes have sparked up. There's an energy that runs through you when you talk about this. I love it.
Thank you.
Please carry on. Sorry, I didn't want to stop you there. I just have to acknowledge that. It's beautiful to see.
So I've looked at some of the beliefs that I've had around religion and God. And I guess I've touched on some of this before, and the Bible. And so I've started to do some deep diving and to do some investigative question and answer seeking for myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm just coming up with really some fascinating and really interesting things. And so,
care to share, like one or two of them?
So you asked me who I follow. So I've been looking a lot at Greg Braden.
Okay.
Who I find really interesting, and
what's
almost everything he says is backed up by science, research, and study.
So he's a scientist.
He is. He's got 2 degrees. One is as a geologist, but he's also was very heavily involved in the tech industry years back in the 80s and early 90s. And you'll find a lot of these folks who are
asking much deeper, bigger questions.
Yeah, but they all have this incredible scientific background to them.
Yeah.
So there's some foundation.
They're using that as a framework to actually ask these deeper probing questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this morning I woke up with a very clear intention that in order for my brain to grasp things, I kind of work in mind maps. So I need to put it all on a big board. And, and to try and puzzle it out. And so scientists have got us to the point where we mostly understand the Big Bang. But, you follow somebody like Brian Cox, and he was saying, but what was yesterday before the Big Bang? Like, what was there? What happened before that? And that's such a big question.
It's a massive question.
So there was the Big Bang and then this massive explosion, and then humanity came, some 200 or 300,000 years ago, and then you read Homo sapiens, or what's it, Sapiens by Yuval.
Yes, Hari.
That's right. and look at the different kinds of sapiens that existed on the planet, and then you overlay that with religion and belief and religious texts, and so many texts have been found subsequent to when the Bible,
And what we were taught at school.
well, exactly,
Because the access to information is now there.
exactly, and you've got these Dead Sea Scrolls which have been found, and there is imagery of scientists trying to put that together.
But what does it mean for you? Where's this leading you?
So what I think comes out of it is what incredible technology we are as humans. And that where we come from is not as simple as what we think. And that we're part of a much bigger consciousness. And maybe the advent of AI is helping us to explore some of that, because we now have this intelligence that thinks and grasps concepts much quicker than we do.
Which comes from humans.
And has all of the access to all of the written words everywhere. And if you don't have to take one view of something. If you get some information, you can verify it in so many different ways. So you don't have to blindly follow what Chat or Claude tells you. If you think, that doesn't quite sound true, and if I'm going to take this on as a belief, I need to know where that started or where those facts came from.
It's fascinating.
Can I just say one more thing? The other thing that I'm really excited about right now, and what listening to a lot of this and having AI do some of the work for me means that I can go on some of my soul exploration, and so that's, I guess, why I suddenly have so much more time, because I've learned to use AI as a tool, which gives me the time to go and do other things. And one of the other things,
I love that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
That's I guess the space and the freedom that it gives us. But when I talk about what an amazing technology we are, I remember my mom telling me years ago about the HeartMath Institute.
Mm.
And it flummoxes me that they are not just more well known, that people aren't talking about them at schools, because they talk about the heart being the soul and the brain and one of the brains of the body. And the heart actually emits this incredible electromagnetic field, and it has a name. I can't remember what the name is because I've got so many facts in my head that they're bumping each other out. But so we have this heart center around us. Yeah. So often we talk about, when you walk into a space, you get a funny feeling, or when somebody close to you get a funny feeling. And sometimes somebody comes near you and you're a bit like, oh, I don't like that. Or somebody comes near you and you're like, oh, I just love this person's energy. So we carry this thing with us. Yeah. But that thing is also created by our thoughts and our vibrations. And so if you walk into the world with
a certain energy or vibration.
I'm grateful. I have abundant love and abundant joy. I have abundant health, abundant sunshine, and you carry that with you. And I'm not saying that I do that. I'm saying that this is what I'm studying. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm trying to embrace. Right. And you carry that with you. It's just it's amazing the things that will happen to you.
I do think that the access to the information that we've got is exponential, that there's so much information out there, and it's about distilling the information that is relevant to us.
Correct.
Where we are on our various soul journeys.
Exactly.
So,
and to that point, that's how the Bible was written, in fact, because and all the other religious texts from all the other religions, they were written for a perspective. Because everybody is on a different part of their journey. And
it's tied back to kind of like one universal...
yes, back to one universal concept.
Truth or
exactly.
Concept of like treat others as you would want to be treated. Love thy neighbor.
Yeah, and that we are the expression of this almighty God.
Of whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It begs the question for me where... I've always said this, I love the art, the long form art of podcasting, of writing, of just the long form art of documentary.
It's so valuable.
But what I'm realizing is that not everybody, as we move forward, has a time to listen to an hour podcast. They might, but my point being is like, what we are doing and what folks are doing with long form podcasts, documentaries, and written, is that then exists, and then AI is able to go and aggregate the pieces of it if you have a shorter attention span. And I'll give you a perfect example is no one is going to listen to this podcast. Well, I hope you do, but this podcast in its entirety. But once it's out there, AI can go into it and say, give me the 2 points or 3 points that Bridget said about her journey on AI.
Yeah.
And the rest will be out there. So it's still important what we're doing. But just going back to what you're saying about the heart space and the heart math space and the energetic field, I feel very strongly about humans buy from humans, and humans, the connection is an important part, because that is where AI will not be able to discern what you're talking about, an attraction or a repel, to the point of when you walk into a room and you're like, this person has got a good energy. It's a gut feel. It's something that you cannot verbally express because it's innate in the body. And I think that's a very real thing that's going to differentiate how we navigate the road forward between where we are going with the changing.
And I think it's really,
does that make sense?
And I think it's really important that we remember that to try and stay pure human. So don't augment ourselves too much.
So what do you say about, because a lot of people are saying now technology and humans are going to merge. I mean, there's brain implants, there's chips.
But maybe keep yourself as a pure human, because that seems the safest way forward. You've been given this incredible technology, a brain that we still don't fully understand, a heart-brain connection, and a gut-heart connection. No, at this point in my life, I wouldn't. I want to stay
sovereign.
I want to stay pure human.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think,
and you might be slower. You might be slower at doing things because the interface will be slightly, because you'll still have to talk to an AI versus...
Yeah, but I've got the AI in my ears and I've got the AI in my glasses.
My point being is, if you have a chip in your head, it's at the speed of thought. We hear there's a verbal saying, I would like to do X, I want this information. So, and I agree with you. I mean, I think the sovereign aspect is something that we need to be very conscious of and aware of in terms of staying that pure human and using it as a guide and an aid. Yeah.
Because it's a perfect technology. I mean, your body does things. Our bodies are doing things right now that we don't even realize.
No, absolutely. And
Blood's
I think we're understanding
pumping,
more and more and more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm aware that Juno's here. I'm aware of your presence there. I can see you. I can hear you. You know, I'm regulating temperature. My gut is doing something.
How does it work for you when it comes to Miss 15, knowing that the systems are changing? How do we have the conversation with her in terms of the traditional method of going to school, going to university? We've touched on it briefly, but have your thoughts changed on that as a mom, as a mother?
I think still very much what I would love to do is I would love to be able to pull Kenzie out of school, unschool her and let her study and learn the way she wants to, because she's very driven. I mean, a case in point is she has a massive injury at the moment and she refuses to stay home because she has an English essay that she wants to do really well at. So we're taking her to school just now. Sorry, in a short while.
But I get your point. But
so the conversation around Kenzie is that I and once again, I don't intend this to sound esoteric, but I think that children who are born now need to be treated with a lot of care and dignity. And I think that they have an intelligence, an intuition, and a capability far beyond what our generation of people can understand. And I've seen that with so many kids. And spending time with children is such a wonderful, encouraging way to see the hope, the possibility, and the potential. I don't necessarily think at this point in time that Kenzie going to study because she feels she has to and because it's the right thing to do is the path for her. But that choice I will leave open to her. I won't stop her but I just don't know that it's worth getting thousands of dollars in debt, tens of thousands of dollars in debt.
Exactly. It's not an option. That system is flawed now. Because
but not for everybody, Louis.
But the thing is, the nature of the very nature of the system about going to train to do something, by the time you leave, is outdated. The speed at which things are happening is exponential.
But I think there's still a space for doctors to be together, or microbiologists to be together, scientists.
But you talk about a different thing. You talk about the human element of actually connecting.
That's exactly where I was going with that.
So the nature of why you're going to a place or tertiary education
is to connect
with humans and figure out how other humans work. That, I think, is an unexplored part of this whole puzzle.
Yeah. Well, I think it's explored and I think it's valued. I think that we understand that people need to be with people, especially in this era of massive loneliness.
Yeah, which is another whole element and aspect that we haven't even discussed: the isolation of the human being.
Yeah,
but that's for another discussion.
So back to our daughter. I would just love to pull her out of a school system that I believe is outdated.
Well, we're on the same page there.
And I don't think it
I have a passport. I think we need to go and actually just go and travel something. So if anybody out there needs a fun and fresh, funky family to go and look after their yacht in the Caribbean, I'll put my hand up, or whatever that looks like. I mean, I'm not being facetious about that. But yeah, it's something that's really worth considering.
But I wonder how other families are looking at it. Because ultimately you still have to fund the airfare. You can get into the countries, you can stay, you can register with a company, trusted pet sitters or house sitters or whatever there are.
How do you fund it?
Unlimited, but you've still got to come up with the 6,000 New Zealand dollars to get to Europe.
There, and then fund yourself. It's a very
You've still got to pay for the food on your table. I mean, that's the part of the puzzle I haven't quite resolved yet.
And it's a part of the puzzle that freaks me out in terms of the fact that we're going to be living much longer, is how do we fund that?
Well, exactly. That's a very real thing. Yeah. How do we fund that? Because the financial system, I suspect, is also starting to look very different.
It definitely is, and the whole way things are doing, and that's where we're in this flux point at the moment. And we're always in flux. There's always something, but this
now
is a very real.
Yes, it's very sharp. Like, do you buy
fundamental?
Do you buy some sort of cryptocurrency? But the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin's failing, and it has nothing to back it.
Or the experts don't even know what to say about it.
Exactly. Do you buy shares? And then when you look at it,
do you buy a house? Do you invest in property?
Exactly. Like where do you get your financial stability right now?
So 2 ticks: you back yourself, I'll back myself, and we'll walk this journey together. Let's just try and land this plane and finish this off, because we've got other things that we need to attend to this morning. Bridge, it sounds like you've been I know you've been on a wonderful journey. What can we look forward to in the next couple of months? Where are you going? Where are you heading? Any highlights, anything that you'd like to share?
I'm really excited. I'm stepping into a role for the next 12 months, which will give us the little... the much needed, I think, financial stability that the current economic environment has made quite challenging. And so I'm going to lead the brand for a New Zealand business, which I'm very excited about. So that's a 12-month journey. I will endeavour to continue to explore my humanity.
I love that.
And I'm now married to a Kiwi, so I have to learn to cook fosh and chops.
Fosh and chops.
Yeah, properly.
I have to have fosh and chops. Well, look, I really appreciate you being on the podcast. Let's do this again soon, because I always love these conversations, because we go down rabbit holes and we find these little parts of ourselves which we don't necessarily get the time sometimes during the day to actually explore. So all the best for your new venture.
Thank
you. To reinventing myself along the journey. Thanks for being here, and I love you very much.
Love you too. And remember, I've got a surprise for you today.
We'll leave it there. Cheers, folks. Thank you. Leave comments, share it, and if it really does speak to you, please get hold of us and let us know what you think of the podcast. Much love.
Can I ask you a question?